Yo, what's up? What's up? We got a special guest today here at 101.1 The Culture. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Today is a beautiful day, and I'm just excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes, I'm really excited.
So if y'all don't know, I've been blessed today. I get a chance to sit down with Miss Shirley, aka Mama Doe, the mother of the late great legend Doe B. So
Yes.
I'm really I feel privileged today. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that you and I have known each other for years, but for us to really sit down and have some dialogue and talk about, the past, the present,
Yes.
and what we want to do together as partners in the future, I
Yes.
think that's a blessing.
It is. It's a blessing.
So we're gonna let the people in your business a little bit today, right?
Okay.
So I ask all the rappers and everybody else, but I gotta ask you, tell us a little bit about who you are,
Okay.
where you are from, and a little bit about how you grew up where you from.
Okay. Well, I'm a mother, Shirley Thomas, Shirley Rugley, born Shirley Rugley.
Okay.
And I come from a little small town down there in Montgomery called Hunter Station. And I grew up, as little country girl. My mother had 7 kids.
Mm,
I was the oldest daughter, oldest girl. And, I was raised like, take care of the family.
okay.
Okay, the family really mattered back
Absolutely.
then. I was born in 1960. So, those were hard times, hard days. But, I grew up like, just taking care of the family, taking care of the siblings, take care of the family because mother had to work. So, I was the oldest daughter. And the oldest daughter, oldest son, back then, the oldest one, they had to know everything. So, and you were gonna have to see about everybody else till, you know, the mama get back home.
So you was basically running everything.
Exactly. At an early age, yes. So, life was just, hard back then. So, ain't too much change now, Benny, but
Hmm.
a lot has changed. But, the struggle is real.
Absolutely,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
you grew up as a youngster during like some of the height of the civil rights movement. And of course, Montgomery
Yes.
was on the spotlight just like Birmingham was. What
It,
was that
it
like? Did you
was.
get a chance to experience some of that when you were coming up?
Oh yes. I experienced being in the cotton fields with my parents, with my older grandmothers and great grandmothers. I remember the cotton field.
Yeah.
I was a little girl. I was about 4, maybe 5, but I
Hmm.
remember being out there in the cotton field with them. And then also when Dr. Martin Luther King and the foot soldiers were walking to Montgomery, um, I we always ran up to the street to see the foot soldiers and Dr. Martin Luther King. I remember that, going up there to the street to see them. And so by me experiencing that, and I was about 5 or 6 years old, but I remember. I remember that.
I was gonna say
I
that must be
remember.
your phone.
I'm gonna turn it off.
You fine. You fine.
hmm
Sometimes we on our phone and we still got to take care of business. I should be
Oh
turning
yeah.
mine off.
hmm
I meant to put it on airplane mode. That's what
But
we
that's what
supposed to
I'm gonna
do. But
do.
I was so excited to have
Oh,
you
and
sit
I
down. I ain't
was
take
too.
care of none of my business,
I
right?
was too. I'm excited. But yeah, I forgot to turn my volume down. But we good. We good.
Now I know I go down to Montgomery a lot. I haven't been as much as I'd
hmm
like to lately, but I know during those some of those back roads, you can still see those fields and those cotton fields and still going.
Yes.
And now when you think of Montgomery as being the capital, a lot of people forget that Montgomery is the
it
capital
is.
of Alabama.
It is the capital. Can you believe that?
Yes, I actually can because I go there. People don't realize Montgomery is big.
It is. It's big, but it's not big as Birmingham. I mean, well, Jefferson County.
Yeah.
I say that Jefferson County ain't big as Jefferson County, but Montgomery is big for just to be the city,
Yeah.
and Montgomery is its own county, so it is, sort of big. But to be big as it is, and so much happened there, during the civil rights days. So much happened there, but it's still, to me, it's still too far behind. A lot of things haven't changed, as far as the
Would you say
I
it
would
was more
say the
about
black
the
generation, the black people too much to me haven't changed, Benny, because you still got to struggle just to even be there, live there. But then to me, when you get to Birmingham, it's like something moving a little faster than Montgomery to me. Even back in '97, when I first moved to Birmingham, it was like something was moving a little faster to me.
And I'm gonna say Birmingham is progressive because as I travel to other places, a lot of people they don't think Birmingham country no more. That used to be everybody's mindset. Oh, you in the South, you in Birmingham, y'all country. But then when you go into other places, a lot of people are looking at, oh, so y'all moving because you got people that grew up here and left. And then as they come back, they look and they can say, man, Birmingham has changed, and it has a lot. When you look at the inner city, the downtown is starting to try to thrive again.
Yes.
There's always room for progress.
It is.
But there's a lot of growth in the city.
It is. There's a lot of growth in the city because if somebody moving from, say, somebody going to move here in Alabama from Detroit, Chicago, all parts of Ohio or somewhere like that, where you think they going to stop at?
Right here in the city?
They're going to stop in Birmingham because they're not going to Montgomery. And they're going to stop up there in Atlanta, one.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, though. I like Montgomery. I got I
love Montgomery.
I got a lot of good friends there in the music business. Shout out to my production partners, all the guys from Dirty, Jay Blackburn one, Fire, everybody down there. Of course, me and Yogi go back.
Yeah. I heard a lot of names, and that's how I kept hearing your name from people. And so we finally got to meet, but I've been hearing your name.
Well, I'm glad of that. Now, of course, the people gonna want to know a lot about your son. Some people in my generation grew up listening to DOE and watching his come up.
Okay.
So when did you know he had the bug for rapping?
Oh, I knew when back when he was probably about maybe 11, 12 years old, something like that.
So he was
I
rapping.
Knew he liked the music, when he was younger than that. I noticed that about him. He liked a lot of rhythm because he would always be beating on different things, and making some rhythm, or something. But when he got older, about 11 or 12 years old, in middle school.
So he was rapping in middle school? Did he ever let you hear some of his raps when he was young?
No, he didn't let me hear none. But I used to hear him, in the bathroom because he hold the bathroom up. And he'd be in the bathroom, be in the mirror. And I could imagine what he was in there doing with the microphone over there, up there doing that, what I'm saying, in the mirror because he held the bathroom up in the morning time. So. So I knew then, and then when I knew it was really serious business.
Yeah.
One day I went in his room and I cleaned it up while he was at school. It was at high school then. And I went and cleaned the room up because he didn't clean up. He wasn't that type of little boy. He cleaned up. And so I cleaned his room up. And he had a lot of papers, like scattered everywhere, papers and stuff. But he was writing the music. Oh. And I didn't know what it was because he was in school. So I'm just thinking some old papers, and I got all this cleaning up the room, and I got them papers and throw them in the garbage.
Uh-oh.
And when he got home from school, he was looking for him. And he said, Mama, did you say you cleaned my room up? And he said, what you did with all my papers up there? I said, boy, I threw them in the garbage. Glenn, I called him Glenn.
For sure.
So he said, Mama, you throw them in the garbage. And he was so upset, he was mad with me. Boy, he said he went in there. He said, where the garbage at? I say, in the kitchen in there.
He had to go get them wraps.
He went and got them. He went and got all his papers out there. Good thing I hadn't dumped that trash, but he would have shown up been mad. And so he got them, and I say, the boy mad. I say, what is it? What you wrote on him anyway? I said, what is it? He said, that's my music. That's my music. That's when I found out that he was writing music,
Okay.
and everything. And so I say, oh, it's serious, I say, he was mad with me about them papers. So I didn't ever do that no more. Yeah, I didn't throw the papers away no more. When I
You still clean the room for him, but you wouldn't mess with the papers.
Papers away. But he was into it really. So he was around about 16, 17 years old when he got shot in the eye.
Yeah.
He wore the patch. So he was, 17 years old, rapping in the clubs in Montgomery.
So he was out there at a young age, rapping, putting in the work, and
yes, in the studios all night. And come home, it'd be like 1 or 2, whatever in the morning. He got to get up for school, but he was in the studios. He stayed in the studios constantly.
And so he had that work ethic then.
Yes, he did.
And that's a lot of people don't know. Sometimes them late nights is what gets you through with.
Yeah,
and not just in music, right?
Anything,
but in anything, you got to put the work in.
You do, and he did. And at first I couldn't understand it. I'm like, I'm like, this boy be gone all the time. He ain't never at home. So after he graduated out the little school, homeschooling, I had to put him in homeschooling because he DOE B said, Mama, I can't do high school. He said, but I want to get my diploma, He said, but I can't do high school. He said, so I said, well, let me see, can I find you a homeschooling program where you can get your certificate, GED or whatever one you're going to get, walk or whatever you're going to do. And then that way he had more time in the studio. So I did that. I found one where he go half a day. So he was going half a day. And then the rest of the time, he'll come home after they eat, get him something to eat. He'll tell me, I want some fried chicken. I want some chicken and some yellow rice. Like he wants some chicken and some fries. So I always had that ready for him when he get out of the school. And from there on, he gone to the studio. I didn't see that boy no more until late. It'd be late. Then he come in and he got to get a little sleep before he can go to school. But he was serious about that though.
Well, he was definitely serious
about that school. And he wanted to get his GED or his diploma, and he was serious about that music. Going to that studio, and he stayed in the studio, and looked like he just flew on up. You know how your children just fly on up, get away from you?
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He flew on up, got away from me, and this thing I know, DOE B was like turning 20. And I'm like, Lord. And I'm looking back at like, where did the time go? And it's like he grew up faster than any of my children to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he was just gone. And then the little time that we did spend together, because DOE B spent his time in the studio. And they got pictures of them boys, his other friends, they have pictures of him in the studio laying on the sofa. He'll be just laying up there asleep. Like, he got to get some sleep, but he ain't leaving that studio.
I used to see my partner, shout out Bow. Bow used to have him in the studio all the time, and I used to see pictures of him knocked out.
They got to get some sleep, but they ain't going to leave that studio. Now, it's serious then.
Oh, yeah. I remember many nights I didn't have people spend the night at my house back when I was first starting up. I actually had bunk beds.
Yeah.
And shout out to my wife because she put up with
Put
all
up
of
with
it
it.
because
Wow.
I had my studio in the house and I had
Mhm.
folks living there and coming to sleep there. And if they was gonna
Wow.
record, all right,
Mhm.
they be like, my nickname Magic. So they be like, Magic,
Okay.
Magic. I can't drive home. I'm too tired. I said, well,
Mhm.
we got the bed up over there. So,
Yeah.
it's a journey.
It is.
It's a journey.
It is.
And I know when I found out about Doe
Mhm.
really online back in the MySpace days.
Okay.
And I was hearing his music come up through there and then on
Mhm.
Facebook and then on YouTube. And then I started hearing him on the radio when I was going down
Yeah.
to Montgomery.
Mhm.
And it's like he took over by storm. Everybody knew
Who
Doe.
he was, and they know them. Yes, and they know them by that music. Yes, they know them.
And so a lot of people don't know, but he was actually signed.
Mhm.
He ended up getting signed to T.I.'s label
Mhm. Hustle
and
gang.
Hustle Gang.
Mhm.
And I know he had a video or a couple of them with T.I. I seen one with him and
Mhm.
Project Pat.
Yes.
And then of course we know he did the show and it was a tragic show.
Mhm.
And we all know that during that period of time, he was really on the uprise. I think he was the next one out the South to really blow.
Yes, that's what everybody say, and that's what it looked like too.
Yeah,
Because after that, I didn't see nobody else.
I didn't either.
Mhm.
And so, and I know it's tough, but one of the things that you
Mhm.
since his passing that you have been involved in so heavily is the stop the violence.
Yes.
And I think that's good because a
Mhm.
lot of people will take that pain
Oh yeah.
and I couldn't imagine what it would be like to lose a child. I have a
You.
son
Oh yeah.
and he's had his ups and downs in life and he's
Mhm.
doing very well now. But I
Okay.
remember what I was feeling during some of those times.
Yeah.
And now that he's been able to come out of it, I think that's part of what's inspired me to take an interest here at the Cultural Community Center
Okay.
because I get a chance to give back. I've always wanted to give back to the kids,
Yes.
but I think that inspired me
Mhm.
really heavily. And I know that you coming from the struggle
Mhm.
and then going what you went through,
Yes.
you turn that pain into love
Mhm.
to where you show so many people love through giving
Oh,
back.
yes, Benny. You know that's the only thing I seen that I could do, and I knew it wasn't nothing but the Lord. See, because it was a calling, and everything that happened to DOE B and everything centered around it, it's like I'm not gonna say it was supposed to happen, but it was like it was. How would I say that? Like God had fixed me to be ready for this or be prepared for it
Mm,
because I can't explain it no other way. And now these tears right here, this the most I cried
mm.
since my son died. And because I sit here now and it hurt me so bad because of how he died, even though I know that God had reached down and got him in the midst of everything that happened to him, God had already got DOE B. See, DOE B didn't feel no pain. See, I don't know how I would feel if I got shot or how the next person would feel. But my son, by the time that bullet hit him, he didn't feel it.
God already had him.
The Lord already took it. They just hit the shell that his body was in. But God had already got DOE B. Listen to his music.
Yeah.
See, the Lord had already came and showed them visions just like he did Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah. He,
Showed him. And Doe B, he showed Doe B because Doe B talking about it in his music.
yeah, if you listen to his music, he knew.
He knew. But the thing is, Bennett, Doe B wasn't scared to die because he knew that he wasn't finna live long. He knew that he was finna die. And after I heard his music, after he died, I say, well, Lord, you had prepared my son for this.
And at the same time, like you said, he had ushered you in.
Yes.
To do all the beautiful things that you've been doing.
Yes. Because I was already rooted and grounded in the Lord. See, when Doe B got shot in his eye at 17 years old, I was already on my knees praying that God bring him home, let him come on home.
Yeah.
Let him make it home. Because we couldn't get him out of the studio. And he told us, he said, Mama, he said, I can't do it. He said, I'm not finna stop rapping because I got a lot to rap about. But at that time, I'm not knowing what he talking about.
You just he rapping and you thinking it's just, oh, he in the street, he doing this,
but
and he rapping.
Did told me what he said to me and his daddy. He said, I'm not gonna start rapping. He said, but I'm gonna change the way I rap. He said, I'm gonna change it. And he did. He started rapping about his life, what he had been through. He started rapping about life in general.
Yeah.
Right? Life, period. He started rapping about life here 13, 12 years later. Because you still see it. And
his music still lives on.
Yes.
I was talking to my friend out there. He said, man, I was listening to DOE just yesterday.
and I hear it all the time, Bennett, everywhere I go.
He definitely put his stamp on the state forever.
Yes, he did.
When it comes to music, he's definitely a huge part of the music culture.
Yes.
And you've been able to take that part and put it into the living culture of what we do.
Yes.
And I know we are talking about doing some programs here in Birmingham, which is where I like that, where we can actually do something here in the city, because his birthday should be coming up soon, isn't it?
Yes, it's June the 13th.
June the 13th. So what did you want to, I know you wanted to do something for his birthday or around that time. I think you talked about something for the kids, something as a give back, something for the non-violence, so where we can actually have some people come out and reach out to the youth and have fun, but it still get a message.
Yes, yes, all at the same time, because we need it. I mean, the youth, we losing our children every day, and we losing little bitty babies now.
Yeah,
and so all at the same time, while it's DOE B birthday, that's what I would love to do for the kids here, the youth here, right here in the city of Birmingham, is to have a family fun day. Stop the violence on DOE B birthday. And, just have the kids to come out, the whole family, come out, bring the kids out. And, and let's talk about whatever's on their mind, whatever they want to talk about, It's DOE B Day. And I'll be there as the host the event, and they can ask me whatever question they want to ask me about DOE B. Because a lot of kids know him.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids listen to his music.
They do. I'm telling you, they still bumping it. They still bumping it.
Yes. And so that's what I would love to do on his birthday.
Well, we're going to make it happen. That's one of the things. I'm going to commit to that. Me and my brother, Anthony. Shout out Aunt Ski. And I always shout him out on my show. He gonna come on here with me one day. He be busy, and but he definitely gonna come on the show. Oh yeah, he gonna be here, and we gonna make that happen, because I think that it is a necessity
Yes, it is.
We want to keep the legacy going, but we also want to make sure that we instill in the children
Yes.
a path of light to where they
Mm-hmm.
can say, where, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I could be the next DOE B and carry it further, or maybe I can
Mm-hmm.
be a doctor, or maybe I can be a speaker to help the
Yes, that's
nonviolence,
right.
whatever it is.
Whatever.
And we might not touch them all,
Mm-hmm.
but if we can touch one or two, they'll touch 2 or 4.
That's
Then they'll
right.
touch 4 or 8.
Because the message go on and on and on.
And
So, if we could save 1 or 2 kids,
it was worth it.
that's right. And that's what we need to do. And that's what we got to do. Come back as community, as a whole, on both our sides, north, south, east, and west.
That's
No in between, no middleman. I mean, we can do it. People can do it if we would come together. And this the 2025.
Yeah.
This the year.
2025. This the year of power. I always say this the year of power.
Yeah, black power.
All right,
back in the 70s, they used to do that saying.
That's right, black power. Black power. And you know what? And we got the power.
Yes, we do.
One of the things that Ski says all the time, Aunt Ski, he says, y'all don't realize you are the bag. The kids, he tell the kid, you are the bag. You trying to chase the bag, you already the bag.
That's right.
You just got to figure out how to use what you've been given.
That's right.
And when you've been given something,
talent.
Find your talent.
Find your talent and see what, because a lot of children, that's, and that's what I tell these kids when they walk up to me. And at a lot of these events I go to, the kids, all of them talking about they want to be a rapper. I said, no. I said, no. I said, now, wait a minute. I said, now, everybody can't be no rapper. I said, so now, let me tell you right now. See, DOE B had the talent. That was his gift. So you got to tap in and find your gift. See, you might be a policeman. You might be a fireman. See what I'm saying? You might be a carpenter. You might be an electrician. A plumber.
And you know what? We need all those things.
And we need all that. That's right, in the community. So
everybody want to rap, but I'm like, if everybody rap, who gonna fix the car?
Exactly.
Who gonna cut the hair? Who gonna do this?
That's right. And so,
it takes all of us to make it go round.
And to put something else on their mind. And
you know what? You're right. And we got to show them success stories of other people. Right.
Because they watching you.
And the success stories is right here in the community.
It is.
And that's part of why I wanted to do this. I wanted to highlight people. I got a lot of music friends. I've been doing the music stuff for a long time, but I also got friends that have businesses. I have people that are public speakers. I know people these
kids need to know that.
Exactly. And so I'm, like I said, I feel so privileged just to have you here.
And I feel privileged to be here.
Thank you. I really try to build upon the shoulders of others. I stand on the shoulders of giants is what I always say. So people look up to me and I be like, no, someone else was before me that did this. Or they provided a platform. And so now my job is to do the same for the next folks to come up. Let me provide a platform.
You inherited it somewhere down through the line from your ancestors.
Exactly. And it's a blessing to be able to even be in that position because, I have a history too to where I'm glad that I'm here. And I'm here for a reason.
Yes.
And so I've been able to try to tap into my different talents. And grow, I got my little gray showing now, I done bald headed and everything else. And I said, let me step into my age. let me embrace this 52, 53 years old.
Exactly.
And do that. So
that's right.
So I'm just at that point now to where when I get a chance to talk to those that came before me, like yourself, that have so much wisdom and have so much love, because what's going to beat all of this is some love.
That's right.
In order to stop this violence, in order to stop all this killing, we got to get back to loving us.
That's right, loving on each other.
and
That's
not
right.
poking fun and
That's right.
trying to call somebody out because they don't have as much as you, and
Yes, yes.
and
Yeah.
until we get to that point to where we love each other.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
remember, I was growing in early 70s, and so
Yeah.
that was in that era where Black people started to do things a little different
Uh-huh.
because we felt that we had a little more freedom after your Martin Luther Kings, after your Malcolm X's,
That's right.
and
It
so we started to be able to
started looking a little different.
start looking a little
It started
different,
looking a
right?
little different. Mm-hmm.
And so now we're
Mm-hmm.
almost back. Time repeats itself.
It does.
And now we're back at that point to where,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's time to make a difference. It's time to make a change. And I
It
always say it
is.
starts today.
It is. And I said that same thing you just said, Benny. I said that 11, 10, 11 years ago.
It starts today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
I
love one
said
another.
that down there on the steps of the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
I said that same thing you just said.
And see,
I said
you
it start right now.
It start right now.
Right now, I said we got to do something now.
And so, with that being said, I'm super excited to be able to help you facilitate
Mm-hmm.
a DOE B day and a family fun day here in Birmingham. So y'all stay tuned for that. Y'all gonna be seeing more of us together.
That's right.
So y'all can get ready.
Yeah,
And of
just
course,
get ready.
I'm gonna tell people y'all need to come and check out the radio station. In a little while, all these interviews that I've been doing, we're gonna put them on the station so people can hear them on the station. This is on this is gonna be on YouTube and on my page and all that stuff in a couple of days. But I want to be able to have it on the station because on this radio station that I'm doing, can't nobody control our narrative. We're gonna be able to say what we need to say.
Yeah, that's good.
I ain't corporately owned by nobody, so
That's
we
a
get
blessing.
so we get a chance to do what we want to do.
Yes,
On
101.1.
the culture. There you go. 101.1 the culture. We are for the culture.
That's right.
And again, thank you so much for coming in.
And thank you for having me.
She rode up from Montgomery to come here to speak to me, y'all, and to allow me to speak.
Right.
And like I say, I be overwhelmed. I be full sometimes, and so I'm thankful. I'm thankful today.
Okay, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
But I'm always in Birmingham all the time, and they say Montgomery my home, but I say Birmingham my first home. They say no, Birmingham your second home, but I claim it as my first home.
Good.
But I love myself some Magic City.
Hey, and thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and sign this one off. Thank y'all for tuning in to 101.1 The Culture. Make sure y'all follow the radio station. All you got to do is go to the website. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it says 101theculture.com. There's a radio player. You just click play. You can download the app, Live 365 app, or the TuneIn app, and just search for 101.1 The Culture. And then, of course, you can go to the YouTube channel and watch all the interviews. And we got more on the way. So thank you so much.